If you can't kill a boss, no reason why you can't look like one. Moogle putting the wow in transmogs. Awesome looking on an undead here. The Shoulders of the Forgotten Gate, Firelands, Ballarok, 10% drop rate to get those Cata level shoulders. Next up, you really can't see the chest piece behind the tabard, but the Iron Pelt Jerkin, Hellfire Citadel, Archimond is the boss. The chest and the legs are part of a raid drop set from WoD. Runesworn Wasteguard, Stormheim is the place. It's a quest reward, so that's very easy to pick up. Now, the legs, as I said just a couple of seconds ago, are from Hellfire Citadel. Gorfine is the boss. The Iron Pelt leggings, kind of a low drop rate, but it's the same boss. Give it a shot. Maybe you pick them up. And now we're going to go to a dwarf and the feet. Treads of Dismal Fortune, Trial of the Crusader. The Champion's Cash, 12% on the drop rate. I believe that's Alliance only. You'll have to find some other red boots if you're Horde. Could suggest the Bandit's boots maybe. And the Iron Pelt Mitts. Hellfire Citadel, Tyrant Velhari is the boss. Kind of a low drop rate to get the wrists. No, that's the gloves, not the wrist. My mistake. And Keepers of Time Tabard. Major cities, your tabard vendor, Gold and Exalted with the Keepers of Time to pick up the tabard, and the head is just simply an eye patch at a Tanan jungle. You can buy it on the auction house as well. And the weapon, Inferno Flame Staff, mythic version of Blackrock Foundry. This set is a mix of essentially two tier sets and Legion for monks. Both LFR versions, Burning Throne, LFR, if you want to get the shoulders, which are basically purple balls. They look good, I gotta say. The chest, Zwen's Tunic, which is also LFR, but this one is Tomb of Sargeras. Maiden of Vigilance is the boss. Decent drop rate. Now, the belt is something that you could actually buy in the auction house or farm in Tomb of Sargeras LFR, Court of Pilfered Rosaries, which is exactly what I think when I look at that particular belt. Next up, the legs, Zwen's Legards, Tomb of Sargeras LFR version. Mistress Sazine is the boss. Kind of a low drop rate to get those old mop tier legs. Next up, the feet, Tomb of Sargeras LFR, various mobs, or the auction house to get the Treads of Violent Intrusion. Doing a spin, look at that cape, goes great with that set. But we're going to show you the wrist. See, no gloves here, just a wrist. General's Leather Bracers, Netherstorm, PvP vendor from BC, 1 mark of honor to get the old school wrists. Next up, the back, Cloak of Certain Reprieve, also Netherstorm, BC PvP vendor, 1 mark of honor to get the brown robe. That is not a robe, that's a cloak. I need more caffeine. Zwen's Helm, Tomb of Sargeras LFR, and the weapon is the Relentless Gladiator's Battle Staff. You got to head over to Dalaran and buy it. This is one of those sets that's kind of easy to get. It looks pretty good. Blood Tanned Pauldrons out of Hellfire Citadel Heroic. Dia Dark Whisper, 15% on the drop rate. Incidentally, you could also mog this with Demon Hunters, with Druids, as well as Rogues. Chess Piece of Suspicion, Naxxramas, 25 man. Instructor Razuvius is the boss, 25% drop rate. Got a dude, Night Elf, showing the belt. Death Enveloping Censure, which is out of the Burning Throne Mythic, which looks pretty good. Looks very Demon Hunter-like, if you ask me. The legs are the Infectious Skitter Leggings. Naxxramas, normal 25 man. Maxna is the boss, and we got about a 16% drop rate for the legs, so the chest and the legs both out of Naxxramas. Hellfire Citadel Heroic, Tyrant Velhari will drop the Oppressor's Merciless Threads, which are basically a 16% drop rate. The wrist, keep in mind wrist, not the gloves, Primal Combatants Bindings of Cruelty. If you're Horde, you're going to have to find something else that looks gray, 1 mark of honor. Now we have a dude, Blood Elf showing the Gilded Thorian Cloak. Karazhan BC version, Terrestrian Illhoof is the boss, 17% on the drop rate. The head, Wild Gladiator's Iron Skin Helm. WoD PvP vendor If you're Horde, you're going to have to go with Warmongering, and the weapon, Vicious Gladiator Slicer, 5 Marks of Honor. Okay, we're going to start off with the shoulders. Red Crane Shoulder Guards, very familiar to most monks. Terrace of the Endless Spring Heroic. Lai Shi is the boss, kind of a low drop rate to get the Mop tier monk shoulders. Next up, we're going to go to Vanilla and pick up the Prospector's chest piece out of Black Fathom Deeps if you want to farm it, or just go ahead and buy it on the auction house, probably the best way to go. The belt is going to bring us to Warlords of Draenor the Fun, Blackrock Foundry Heroic Operator Thogar, Conductor's Multi-Pocket Girdle is the name of the belt. Of course it is. That's what I think when I look at that belt. And the legs, Prospector's Woolies. Where are my Woolies? Ashenvale, various mobs, or buy it on the auction house. So probably just buy it on the auction house. The feet, Ironflecked Sandals, Blackrock Foundry Heroic, Thunderlord Beast Tender. That's interesting name. And about a 16% drop rate. Next up, the hands, Red Crane Gauntlets, part of the same tier set as the shoulders. And I believe the boots are not from that tier set. But you're going to have to go to Heart of Fear Heroic to get the hands. The back, Hexlord's Bloody Cloak, Zulaman Hexlord Malakras is the boss, and the headpiece, Scout's Hood, Zangarmarsh. It's a quest reward, saving the Sporelocks. Next up, we're going to take a look at the weapon, which is at a Dragon Soul, Elementium Fragment, 35% drop rate. I'm thinking this is probably for healer monks because it's kind of hard to throw a kick when you're wearing a robe. Mantle of Somber Gaze, Blackrock Foundry, Operator Thogar, 14% drop for the shoulders. Next up, we have a chest piece, which is the Chemical Resistant Apron from Tanan Jungle Fellsmith Damorka. 35% on the drop rate for that leather robe. Next up, we have a Lady Dwarf showing the belt, which is at a Throne of Thunder. Fleshrock the Diseased. I don't know if I want to get near him. Kind of a low drop rate, but I think you might be able to buy that from the Shadow Pan Assault as well with rep and gold. Not 100% sure though. Wild Gladiators, Boots of Victory if you're Alliance. Warmongering if you're Horde. To pick up the feet, 2 Marks of Honor regardless of your faction. Next up, we're going to show you the hands, which are the hand wraps of Somber Gaze, which is out of Blackrock Foundry. Admiral Garen is the boss, 14% on the drop rate, so that's part of the same tier set as the shoulders. The back, Silver Thread Cloak, Nomeron, my least favorite dungeon, various mobs if you want to farm it or buy it on the auction house. Next up, we're going to go to the headpiece, which is the Journeying Helm, which is a WOD level leatherworking piece. So check your local leatherworker or your local auction house. Yes, I forgot the K in leatherworker, oh well. And the weapon is Hellfire Citadel. Gorefiend is the boss, 7% to pick up that epic looking staff. So we're going to start off with the shoulders, which are the Fearless Gladiators Ironskin Spalders. This is Alliance only. Legion PvP vendor, going to cost you Marks of Honor. You got to buy the whole set because that's what Blizzard makes you do. So the shoulders and the gloves, part of that same tier set. The chest, Dread Gladiators leather vest. At this point, you either have it or you don't. It's going to be hard to pick up, but eventually you will probably be able to step up and buy it from some kind of vendor. But Blizzard hates PvP vendors, so you never know. Darkshore BFA, same thing. It's something you either have or you don't at this point. So that's from BFA PvP sources. And the legs also. So the legs, chest, belt, and even the boots are all from BFA PvP. Eventually, you're going to have to buy it from a vendor, I'm sure. Or maybe not. The feet, as I said, Dread Gladiators leather foot guards, the BFA PvP vendor, which really Blizzard refuses to let exist. Marks of Honor. Yes, we're protesting. We need a PvP vendor. Fearless Gladiators. So this is very easy to pick up, especially if you're already a PvPer. You probably have most of these pieces. But eventually you will be able to buy the BFA pieces, I believe. I hope. Fingers crossed. Same with the back. So this is just a bit of Legion PvP and BFA PvP, except for the head, which I didn't show. But if you want to put a head on it, replica Dark Mantle Cap out of the Darkmoon Fair, and the weapon Great Staff of the Nexus, as you can see where to get it. Good drop rate. If you're still listening up and until now, I want to say thank you for watching, and I'll close out by saying what I always say: whatever it is by you, whether it is morning, afternoon, or night, make your day epic.